Former CDC Director, Dr. Tom Frieden. Dr. Frieden, good morning to you. It's good to have you. So let's jump right in here. First, let's discuss the CDC's new recommendations on schools. Among them, that unvaccinated kids and staff should still wear a mask, including kids 12 years and younger who are not yet eligible for a vaccine. Is this the right approach, and is there enough clarity for parents and schools here?
The guidelines are a really important step because they emphasize that in-person learning is extremely important and it can be done, even despite the increasing Delta variant. But it has to be done with layers of protection. That's how we keep schools open. That's how we can keep our kids learning this fall, even if, as is likely, we see some pretty substantial increases with the Delta variant, particularly in communities that don't have a lot of vaccination going on. And that's the bottom line. Keep schools open and do it in ways that are going to be safe for staff, safe for students, and important for the community, because keeping the schools open isn't just about our kids. It's about everyone being able to get back to a more normal sense of life. And vaccination is our main route to that. For the schools where you have kids under 12 who can't be vaccinated, of course they should be wearing masks, particularly in areas that are having a lot of transmission, because otherwise you can have a lot of spread. You can have spread to staff, to students. You can have some severe illness, some long-lasting effects, some of the inflammatory syndrome. So masks are an important way of moving forward, particularly in areas where there's lots of transmission.
I do want to ask an important point, though, here is the CDC is urging schools to reopen, even if they can't implement all these recommendations. None of this is mandatory. So what's your message to parents and teachers who still might be concerned about this?
I think it's a really important point, because what we have to do is have layers of protection. But with a lot of transmission, you can still keep schools open. What you need to do is mask, open the windows, provide some distance, do the best you can. And if there are kids who have underlying health conditions or staff who have an individualized assessment, who have underlying health conditions, then maybe they need to be protected more. You also need to prepare for the possibility that there will be cases in the schools, but we don't shut schools for other infectious diseases, and we can keep them open despite high levels of COVID in most communities if you use that multi-layer protection system, because keeping schools open is so very important, and masks are an important part of that.
Now, you touched on this a moment ago. Daily case rates are up 16% nationwide. Some states obviously getting it worse than others. And some health experts are blaming the spread of the Delta variant and the drop-off in vaccination rates. How worried are you about this trend?
I think it is going to cause problems. We will see increases in case rates in the U.S., fairly substantial increases, especially in places that don't have high vaccination rates. And tragically, we'll see increased hospitalization and increased deaths following those increased case rates weeks later. And I predict that we will still see this occurring almost entirely in people who have not been fully vaccinated. Getting fully vaccinated protects you against the Delta variant, protects you against death and severe illness and the long-lasting effects of COVID that are affecting so many people around the country and around the world. So vaccination is our way to freedom from this pandemic. But while the pandemic is going on, it's still possible to keep our kids in school, in person, learning, and it's enormously important to do so. Masking is a key part of that. And the fact is that the masking is going to be easier to do if it's universal in most settings, but the CDC guidelines really leave that up to individual schools and school districts.
All right, Dr. Frieden, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.